Greetings one and all, this is William Works and welcome to my channel. And today, Brazil and co-op. What relates the two? Well, as you know, Brazil got a battering in the semi-finals against Germany in the World Cup, and it has been the most widely tweeted sporting event in sporting history, overtaking the Super Bowl of this year. And it's been interesting to actually see some of the comments that has been given, or some of the tweets that has been tweeted, if you like. But one notable tweet, I think it was from one of the players from the German side, that basically stated that Brazil has Neymar, Argentina has Messi, Portugal has Ronaldo, but Germany has a team. And I thought that was a very powerful statement and a sensible statement, because if you're playing as a team and you're relying on one person to get you the result you need, and for whatever reason that one person is not available to help you in your endeavors, then you're fucked. It's as simple as that. I can't put it any other way. And they displayed the fact of their mindset in that game against Germany. And how does it correlate with playing co-op? Well, in the same way really, because in this game I'm not even really going to draw no blame to these two players that I played with, because they played very, very, very well. They played as a team. But the only thing is that as it got towards the later rounds, you couldn't hear me on the footage, but I actually stated to the players to come up here where I am now to be more elevated, so we can get the enemies that we need to get from a fair and safe distance. But you know, when you're in the throes of everything and you're just in that combat mode, you kind of forget. And you know, I draw no blame to them in that respect. But when you play with players that have, I don't know, in this case, one of the players had 600 crushings, but there are players who've got a whole heap more. There's players that's got like around 3,000, 5,000 crushings. And they feel because they have that they don't even need you to play with them. You just basically watch them clear up. And in some instances, yeah, that's fine, but why would I really want to watch another person play? It's an issue that I have in terms of co-op, where, you know, where you have X amount of crushings and you feel, well, you know, you don't need anybody's help, or you don't need anybody to help you. But in this situation, as displayed, I'm here on my own with, at the start when I had no other teammate playing with me, 15 enemies to kill. And I have to figure out a way of killing those 15 enemies and not losing the crushing, because we're literally on the 10th round. No lives left, last man standing with 15 enemies to kill. And the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, that when you play co-op, it is all about teamwork. It's not about, I mean, you can be competitive within co-op. I understand that to some degree. I mean, there's a section in Far Cry 3 that displays it perfectly. They have one small section where, you know, you try and pick up as many packages as you can in doom buggies and stuff like that, and that makes a welcome break from the cooperative aspect of playing the game. But then when you're being competitive in a situation where at some point you might have to depend on a lesser player, if you like, to get your nuts out of a vice, you know, situations like this are going to be more than evident. And players have two choices: A, whether to just sit down there and watch, or just leave and rage quit. I've had situations where people just could not be bothered to sit down and watch, but I just think it's just out of, I don't know, embarrassment for them, because they feel they could have done it and they're waiting on a lesser player to finish off the level. And for me, it's all about teamwork. It's teamwork. It is all about teamwork. If you don't have any idea of how your teammate basically plays, and you're just interested in killing as many people as you can, you're going to get yourself in a situation where your teammate ain't going to give a shit about you if your nuts are in a vice. It's as simple as that. But like I said, in this case, it wasn't like that because all my teammates played really, really good. You know, and the one thing I noticed that about my teammates, A, they were quick to revive, and B, when we got pitted against the major enemies in the game, we all formed in a flank formation, in a T flank formation. And once you see play, what do I mean by flanking? I'm using flank as a verb, which basically means to be on one side of. And the most typical formation for flanking is a T formation. And as you can see, illustrated here, Jesmond X is on the top left. The way it plays 999 is on the top right. And yours truly on the base of the T. We are not in each other's way. We are all firing at the enemy. The enemy has no clue as to who to try and kill first. And even if it's insistent on trying to kill one person immediately, each one of us has a 30% chance of being injured or dying. But I have a 60% chance of getting healed because the other two team members are near and close by. But if you have somebody standing right in front of me, between myself and the enemy, then your chances of dying is going to be a lot quicker, because not only you're going to be eating the enemy's bullets, but you're going to be getting some bullet spray in the back of your head from my gun, because I'm not expecting you to stand in front of me like John Rambo. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm talking about. When you flank a potentially dangerous enemy and or a boss, it works out to your benefit because you're not in each other's way. This is how you flank. And once you see players playing like that, they get it. They automatically get it. They know how the game's supposed to be played, and you know how the game's supposed to be played, and you end up having your own killing space around you to get rid of the enemies you need to get. And then when you meet up with the bosses, you just flank them and it's all good, you know. But in this case, like I said, it didn't really happen like that. So I'm here now with 5 enemies left, and using a tactic that I've learned from watching other people play is just to be in an elevated position at all times, because it takes those mofos a long time to climb up to where you are at. And that is time you can utilize by getting away from the enemies as quickly as possible and just keep moving. But at the same time, keep watching out for the lesser enemies so you can pick them off one by one by one. And that way, you'll get through the level. There's no need to be jumping in like Rambo in the middle of everything and trying to kill 20 enemies with you in the middle, because one of the bullets and one of the missiles is bound to catch you. So you just take your time at the end of the day. That's how I see it. And that's what co-op is about. You know, it's not necessarily the person that's got the most crushings that's going to get your nuts out of a vice. With me, I've only got like around 160 crushings. And that's because of the fact that I don't really play the game as much as I used to. But that doesn't make me a crap player. I know how to play the game. But I also got a great sense of teamwork. Co-op is my thing, it's always been my thing, you know. But I got 5 enemies left. I got a cluster bomber on my ass. What else have I got? I've got, let's see, let's have a look around here. Well, I got 2 medals. No way, no, I'm not gonna engage with that pack dude. Jump down. Okay, got less enemy here. Get rid of his ass. Okay, got 4 more enemies left. You know, it's just a case of just maintaining your flow within the game. You don't have to run after them when their objective is to run after you. So you give them the work. That's how I see it. in a lot of co-op situations across various games. But this is how I do it. Just pick them out, pick them out, pick them out. Stay elevated. Take on a vantage point at all times. Look out for the lesser enemies. Pick them off. How many have I got now? I've got 3 left. Okay. Yeah, and just as a side note, Uncharted 3 is probably the only game that I rage the most. It's kind of funny how the more serious the game looks and feels and played, the more fun I have, and the more fun a game looks, the more I rage. But yeah, I do rage in Uncharted 3 for one specific reason, and it's within co-op. It's when you play with some competitors that A, are not mic'd up, B, they're not team players, because they regard team players as weakest links within the team, and I don't really believe that to be true, because everyone plays their part. But if for some reason you make a mistake, which can easily be rectified, considering the fact of how good each team player is, and they decide to give you a punishment shooting to show you that you messed up, rather than invest in a microphone and tell you that, which I think is just a waste of time. It's just a way of them basically trying to own you in a cooperative mode of playing, which pisses me off to no end. And as a result, what I do is that I rinse all of the lives that are basically left. I apologize to the other team player who's probably oblivious to what is going on. I apologize to that player, but I have to teach the offender a lesson, and I rinse all my lives and tell him in the immortal words, get me my crushing with no lies if that's how you want to play. And more times than not, they can't do it, because they're expecting you to be nursemaid and revive them when they've killed 150 people and they just happen to die by a grunt's bullet. And I don't play like that at all. It doesn't serve no purpose for me to play like that, to actually watch somebody beasting in a team-based scenario. So that's what I do. That's part of my raging coping mechanism, is to rinse all of my lives and have the offender try to earn me a crushing with no lives. And if they can do that, I'll be impressed. But more times than not, they can't do that. Which leads me on to this situation where I'm in a situation where I'm the only person standing and it's the last round, no lives left, and I'm trying by hook or by crook to get the crushing. Now I have one enemy left to kill. And going back to the Brazil thing, you know, you could be the greatest, one of the greatest footballing superpowers of the world, but if you're depending on one person to win you games, and that person is not available to play for whatever reason, and you're off the mindset that, boom, you can't play without the guy, you're gonna lose. And with that, I'm gonna fling 3 grenades at this dude and whoop his ass. And there you have it. Anyway, that's enough from me, and until such time, whatever the platform, whatever the game, happy gaming. I'm gonna grab something to eat because I'm sure you can hear my belly rumbling. And until such time, Magan.